Hi, and thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel here at Creative Studios. I thought I'd just talk about something that I mentioned quite a few times on the Rites of Passage promo video that you can see on our channel, where I'm talking about shooting in a Hollywood style, which doesn't really mean anything. But when I say that, what I mean is shooting in a very much a traditional style in terms of the shots that we use. We use, tripod shots, dolly shots, crane shots, Steadicam shots. We don't use perhaps some of the more contemporary styles like shoulder rigs or just handheld, the kind of more styles that you would associate with low budget films, especially these days with DSLRs that are so portable that you can just run around, stick it on a shoulder rig and get loads of coverage. That adds a lot of energy to a film. It's very interesting. It's not the style that I have, and I think probably a lot of people would shy away from shooting in a more traditional style when they're on a low budget because they think too much expensive equipment, too much time to set up. But I think it can be done, and I'm going to show you how we got a very kind of slick looking Hollywood style shot in Rites of Passage on a low budget. And first of all, I'm going to show you the shot in question. Now okay, it may not be the most extraordinary thing you've ever seen, but if you've ever been involved in production, you'll know there's quite a few difficult elements in that shot combined, such as a nighttime exterior with weather effects, all that kind of thing, and a big camera move coming down. And the inspiration for the scene actually was the scene of the T-Rex escaping in Jurassic Park, which is, if you recall that scene, there's thunder and lightning and rain and a big fence and lots of spectacular shots, and obviously that's kind of a bit of an ambitious thing to have in mind. But I think if you have ambitious kind of things in mind, then even if you can only do it on a smaller scale, at least you're thinking big and you're thinking, Hollywood style, entertaining shots. Well, here are some behind the scenes photos that show the setup, and it's a lot less big and impressive than you might think. First of all, what appeared to be a crane shot with the camera coming down at a sort of 45-degree angle. As you can see, that's just a camera slider on a tripod. And the good thing about a camera slider is, one person can operate that, whereas the crane, which we do have a crane here at Creative Studios, but we used it for one shot in Rites of Passage, and it took like an hour just to set the thing up. It took an hour to get one usable shot out of it. It took 3 crew members operating it. That is genuinely not practical on a low budget shoot. So the crane went back in the cupboard and the camera slider came out. Aside from that, we had, as you can see, a couple of redheads, one of which was, I think, supplying blue light, which I'm not sure if that was meant to be moonlight. No, that was the lightning, that's right. Blue light was the lightning, the blue gelled redhead, and the red gelled redhead was kind of supplying what's supposed to be kind of security lighting coming from the nearby buildings. And we also had another blue colour light on the other side of the gateway, which was just hitting the actress from behind. That was kind of a moonlight effect. And luckily, we were shooting all this at our own studio, so we had a supply of electricity without having to have a generator or something like that. So that's another money-saving tip. Just film near an electric socket and you'll be okay. Final thing was the rain. Okay, well, the rain was just down to kind of manpower or woman power. First thing we did, we spent about 20 minutes just wetting the whole place with water. We did actually have a hose pipe, but sadly it wouldn't connect to the taps, in any of the taps in our studio, which was extremely annoying. So as you can see, we just went out there with buckets of water and water cans and just wetted down the whole area so it looked like it had been raining. And for the actual rain coming down, again, we planned to use a hose pipe, couldn't. So all we had as backup was a watering can. And our production assistant Grace came up with a great idea, as you can see in the picture, of putting some tree branches on top of the gate there, which essentially meant we could pour water on the tree branches, and the water kind of spread out among the branches and then dripped down right the way across the width of the gate, which looked fantastic. So obviously when you're just pouring something from a watering can, it just kind of comes down in a very narrow kind of shower effect, which doesn't really look like rain. So here's the raw footage that we came away with directly from the camera. Okay, this then had some grading applied and also had some extra rain applied, a little bit of extra rain, which was just shot with a watering can against black background and just superimposed on top. Quite lightly, because it looked a little bit fake when you tried to bring it in too strongly. And finally just added the sound effects of the thunder and then a heavy rainfall sound effect. Of course, that's the kind of thing that really sells the shot, is the sound. You can do so much with sound. You can add so much big atmosphere to a very simple shot just by putting thick layers of atmosphere, sound and music on it. And that was the final shot. Again, I'm not trying to say it's the greatest thing ever, but it is, it's just indicative of the style that I like to go for, which is, a slick Hollywood style that you'd think would have cost a lot of money and actually doesn't.